enforcement and ticketing, Mr. Gilchrist. I heard you spoke about the roll-on, roll-off, which I think is one of the measures that we will continue to support, especially for large housing scheme areas where the garbage can be taken and placed in these huge storage area and be taken away without having to spend half a day to take up this garbage from out of a garbage skip. And I said at one meeting before that I think that is the way NSWMA should go with all these major housing development, of which all households in this day and age have a car. So if it is placed at a central location, then they could on a daily basis on their way to work just carry their little bag with the garbage and dump it in there. So it would not have to be left at their gate to be ravaged and scavenged by dogs and other stray animals. But I must also highlight a commitment that was made by the Prime Minister at that town hall meeting over on Dump Up Beach, soon to be a recreational park, a beach recreational park, where they're coming in the new budget year, there will be a push to purchase some 100 new garbage units. And if I am to say to NSWMA, a part of your recommendation is also, instead of all these huge units, I would say to you that in your deliberation with your ED is to encourage more smaller, compactor trucks. I have been saying this for quite some time because most of our roadways, our lanes, our little streets just can't manage some of those huge 10-wheeler trucks or even the 6-wheeler trucks. So having, and St. James in particular, have some uniqueness about it. The flankers, the Granville, the Mount Salem, the Roseites. These are all small driveway which cannot accommodate some of those. So in your recommendation, I would advise that you recommend to your ED to make that a part of his representation in the ordering of those trucks. So once again, thank you very much for giving us such comprehensive report. And I would ask you to convey to your staff our appreciation for the work that they are doing. And I know it's difficult work, trying circumstances. And I wish for them a very merry and happy Christmas for them and their family when that time comes. So once again, thank you very much, Mr. Gilchrist. Can I get a recommittal to Long Hill, Councillor? Moved by Councillor Morris, seconded by Councillor Cope. Can you
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. I want to move a motion, Mr. Chairman.
yes?
For $1.5 million to do some emergency work on the Long Hill Main Road with regards to overhanging and the retaining wall. And this one's been requested from the emergency.
Can I have a seconder? All in favor? Thank you very much. I must give the instructions now that work must commence by the end of this week. There must be some work, and I think on the weekend, in my opinion, would be a very good time. We need to have the necessary signage be placed along that area, and we don't need to see 2 cones immediately as you come up on the site where the work is being done, as what had taken place out along the Rosal Road. We need to see signs at least 150, 200 meters before you reach the point where the actual work is taking place. So whether it is cone, whether it is road signs, whether it is flagman or flagwoman, make sure that all the necessary signage are in place. So Mr. Lee and Mr. Jackson, I want you to, at the rise of this meeting, you look at the scope of work, you go on the site and you see exactly what needs to be done, and we get that work started immediately. Thank you. Councillor Troop.
His Worship, I like the idea of the fixing up the Long Hill, but I think I have traveled that road on several occasions. I think $1.5 million is just inadequate, and I think it just a temporary fix. It needs much more than that to make a real impact for security. So I like that you're moving full speed ahead, but I think you should collaborate. I think you should revisit the estimates, because Mayor, $1.5 million is a tiny tip in the bucket for that major and Long Hill Road. Just saying.
I hear you saying, but what we do here is, Councillor Troop, we spend money prudently. And we don't regard it as chicken feed.
And at least, Mayor, if you allow me, I like that, because I don't want us to go down the way that Peter John went. So I love that.
You know? So if during the course of the expenditure some more is required, the template has been set, so we could. But I think that based on the superintendent's own visit to the area and his own observation, that was his recommendation. Because we are not seeking to do a complete overlay. As a matter of fact, I'm sure that you are reading the papers, and there will be a soon-to-be Long Hill bypass leading into Anchovy and Mount Carey. We are now on to police report. Report from the police, Mr. Lee? No police?
Here, Mr. Chairman. Municipal. I didn't get a report, Mr. Chairman. You want me to comment?
There's no police report. But based on the last report, and I'm looking at the minutes, the last report stated a reduction in crime, restore law and order, disrupt gang activities, increase public safety, and seizure of illegal firearms. But I will have to comment, and I'm sure others will want to comment, as it relates to that shocking news, that shocking position that was taken by the parliamentary opposition 2 nights ago, in which they have voted not to support a continuation of the state of emergency in this parish. And what was even more frightening to me is when I see our 4 minority councillors in this council issued a press release. I have been thinking about it, and I must be quite honest with you. I am, to say disappointment or disappointed, I'll put it mildly. But let me say it, I've seen among those same 4 councillors got up in this council. Yes. 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 And, well, you know, it looked to me that way. Because, you know, and that is where, because I have always said, we who are down here, we see it, we live it, and as I quoted, who feels it knows it. I have heard the councillor from the Granville division crying out in a voice clip, crying out in a voice clip, and now to see they are backtracking, I would say they are weak, they are spineless. And this is your parish. This is your parish of St. James. Mount Salem was the first area to be singled out. And I've heard comments, boy, since this thing, you know, it should continue in perpetuity. We all know it can't. We all know it can't. But I still think that the patient St. James is still in the operating theater. And we cannot and we should not discharge the patient at this time. And I say to us here, we have to be smart. We have to stand up for what is right and not what our political party wants. Because we are here to serve our people and serve in their best interest. And for the minority leader, I say to you, I am disappointed in you. Thank you. Is there Councillor Morgan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, after much reflection on the past couple of days and news items and social media activities, I am now led to believe that crime on a whole is a business. And I've been in this chamber for roughly 2 years. 2 years. And I have had to attend countless funerals, both incident and accident of different natures perpetrated against the citizens of this great parish. Speak it, man. I am led to go back to some biblical beginnings, Mr. Chairman, in terms of, I'm wondering if among us live sons of Lucifer, Mr. Chairman. Fallen angels, Mr. Chairman. Because now to see persons who have complained bitterly about what has happened in this parish, and yet now have the audacity on social media, in the newspaper, to now call for a retraction of the state of emergency, leads me to believe that there is more to this state of emergency and crime in this parish than meets the eye. And I'm wondering, I'm not throwing any blame on anywhere else, but I've been in this chamber and I've been accused by association of other councillors here with us activities that are not in keeping with our jobs, with what we are put here to do, of associations that have been associated with them, of persons that are perpetrators of crime. And I'm wondering, Your Honor, when do we get tired of spending, of crying, of bawling out for our kids, or for our family, of what is happening? And I'm very disappointed along with you, Mr. Chairman, in that, forgive me for the words. Forgive me for the words. But I'm telling you, I'm almost led to tears, Mr. Mayor, that the minority of this council that has suffered with us, that have cried with us, will now take a line which is not even popular. It's a very unpopular line, and support the withdrawal of the state of emergency. And I need answers from them, Mr. Chairman. I think that they should give us and give St. James a reason beyond a political line of why that stance will be taken. There are those among us that have benefited in their own division. They call about this, what's the plan, where's the crime plan? But state of emergency, Zozo, the additional of aircrafts, those are crime plans. And they have benefited from the social interventions of agencies like JSIF, the tax office and other SDC, CSJP, of activities in their division.
Ungrateful is the word. Ungrateful.
Even, Mr. Chairman, better than others on this side of it, what you call the administration or the party in power, that have not gotten that type of benefit. Zinc fence removal, job interviews, assistant in doing resumes for their division. But how they will now turn around and say it is a bad thing and they want it retracted. Weaklings, wimps. And there's another word being used by another popular politician, which I won't do it here. But I'm disappointed, Mr. Chairman, and before we move on from this, I would like them to answer and tell the people of St. James, why would they have taken such a stance? Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I am here in full support of what Councillor Magan is saying. Mr. Chairman, when I came to this parish council, I was of the belief that things in this parish council needed to have worked as a unit. Mr. Chairman, I see where you worked, not as opposition and government, but you worked as one parish council. Mr. Chairman, if you buy a cake, you would serve the minority before you even serve us. We go on a retreat and we gather together as a body of city managers, which, to my surprise, Mr. Chairman, yesterday it was a eureka moment for me. I woke up and realized that the minority does not feel so. The minority sees it as a political football, and on any opportunity that they're given, they try to score a goal, Mr. Chairman. And all the gains, yesterday morning when I left my house, Mr. Chairman, and I told my helper that the state of emergency has been voted against for its extension, she broke down in tears. She said she just moved back into her community, Mr. Chairman. She just moved back. I went to the ancillary staff in here yesterday, and when I told them that the state of emergency would not continue beyond the 18th of next month, they also broke down in tears, because they are seeing that something is finally working. I hear the conversation about Section 50 and use this section. The opposition leader was once the Minister of National Security. Why never use Section 50? Why never use it then? When you're in opposition, you have all the answers. You have every prescription. But then when you're in government, you don't do anything. Finally, we are reassuring the people of Jamaica something is working. We talk about inconvenience that we're suffering because of the state of emergency, because businesses have to lock early. I'm a building contractor. My staff couldn't go home after 5 o'clock. I couldn't get anybody to work overtime because there were gunmen parading like they were police school children that come home from extra lessons late had to stay at bus stop and sleep because they can't go into them community. And we taking politics. We using politics now. I know politics time, man. We have another 2.5 years for that, man. Let's fix the country. And when we fix the country, then we can go back to the green and orange. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have to say.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to give you a story, a quick story. After the local government election 2 years ago, I'll never forget, and I want to just bear with me for a second, and I'm not casting blame on anybody. I wouldn't even look at the minority when I'm talking. I was in the barber's chair, Mr. Chairman. No, fun and joke aside, I wouldn't even use no big word either. I was in the barber's chair, Mr. Chairman, and I got a call. I'll never forget the night. And my driver came for me, and we went up to Paradise. Mr. Chairman, I came upon 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 dead bodies in Paradise Acres. The night, one night, gunmen invaded the community, military style, perched on top of a shop, and fired shots randomly at constituents for some squabble or argument that I don't care about. Montego Bay West, Paradise Acres, a community that I was born and grown in. My grandmother was a councillor in that community many moons ago for the other side of the party, for the other whatever. Mr. Chairman, a young man was there tonight. His name is Jeffrey. He goes by the name of Wiz Khalifa. He can look like a popular rapper. Wiz was not involved in any form of criminal activity. And anyway, as far as I know, and I went there, and I'm going to get graphic, I saw his marrow on the ground in a popular shop that I buy food from time to time. And then now, we have implemented a program that has finally brought some semblance of peace and an aura of justice and something that works, something that tangibly works. We can see the figures, numbers don't lie. Reassurance, Councillor Crawford. And for you and your party to play politics like it's a football back and forth with people's lives when all of us sitting in this chamber as elected representatives have benefited from the SOE is disingenuous and evil and wicked. And guess what? History is a funny thing. You know my brother Thomas. History is a funny thing. History will not absolve the decision that was taken by the opposition leader. And guess what? Jamaica is a godless country. And it's a godless council with a godless mayor. And we will prevail, and we're going to beat this crime monster with or without your help. Have a good day.
When I came here, Mr. Mayor, last year, 2 years ago as councillor for the Rosal Division, I was begging for help. Over 22 persons were killed in my division prior to the state of emergency. This year, 4 persons. 4. Persons working in Montego Bay had to sleep in buses. There's a shop in Barton that persons had to stay overnight and go back to work in the morning. They couldn't sleep. The place was under siege. State of emergency came. Barton is now a safe place. Persons can go to work. Persons don't have to sleep in shops anymore. Persons can earn an income. And what I found hypocritical is that the opposition vote against securing the lives of Jamaicans and Montegonians. But at the same time, they have confidence in a man who have squandered millions of Jamaican dollars and assets. Oh my. Oh my. leader of the opposition said he has our confidence in that person. And we are saying to the leader of the opposition, we have confidence in the state of emergency in St. James. But he don't see that confidence. Jamaica, under that gentleman, is going on a dark path. And I'm happy that he will be the leader of the opposition for a very long time. Because if that's the type of leadership he's planning to provide Jamaica, I would be sorry for all the Jamaicans who be living here. But I want to say thanks to the police force. I want to say thanks to the military. I want to say thanks for the guidance that they have provided to my division, especially Barractown. And to ensure that Barractown now is a place where people can walk freely. People can go to work.
Church.
People can go to church. Crusades that were cancelled are now being held. And most importantly, many, many lives, many persons are alive now because of the state of emergency. And to my colleagues who support that stand, I can recall when I was standing here making appeals, they were appealing with me as well. So I'm wondering if they remember that they are suffering from some amnesia so that they the benefit. And I will say to them, my brother, there is still a road for repentance. I seek it to them. Yes, I want to hear from them. I definitely want to hear from them. Want to hear from them.
My mic is purposely disconnected. But no one of us on this side is saying that we don't see crime reduction. Everybody shut up. The soldiers, keep the barricade, do the searching, but 4,000 young men, you take them up and you lock them away for 4 to 4 months. 4 days. 4 days to 4 months. All we are saying, continue to do your search, continue to have the barricade, continue to do everything that you're doing. But the constitutional right of the ordinary poor man, leave it. What is wrong with that? That I represent.
their children are found in possession of illegal weapon. That is not somebody who talks on principle. Because I am certain that many of us have children who have achieved adulthood. And for them picking up fine with no gun in them house. You have persons who speak about people's constitutional rights. And I am just going by memory. If I am wrong, then I should be corrected. But when people with mental challenges were picked up off the streets of St. James and taken to St. Elizabeth, people never talk about people's constitutional rights.
Thank you.
So, I can go on to speak about certain activities that certain persons, when they held the position of chairman of committees in this council, and went on the street and abused the vendors and took away their goods without them having any authority for themselves, because they were not district constables authorized under no law. But they were taking up people's goods and depriving of their goods. They were not talking about people's constitutional rights. And the record in the municipal police office has the name of the individual who was a chairman of a committee, goods seized by a particular councillor who come and speak about constitutional rights. But he never had any right or authority to be depriving vendors and people of them goods on the streets of Montego Bay. And they speak as if they are older than thou. But I am certain that there are 17 of us in here, and 16 of us do have no secretary who name appear and no barrel with 119 guns coming into Jamaica. So, when they speak, they must reflect and remember on some of these things. I said, and I will repeat it, 16 people who are councillors, their secretarial assistant's name did not appear on any barrel on a record in relation to 119 fire. What is the point of order?
You need to ask Councillor Charles Sinclair to withdraw that statement.
On what basis?
But 16, what statement? What is the point of order? But here, I said 16 people don't have no secretary name for no barrel with 119 gun.
No, you need to withdraw that statement.
For what?
Sit down now.
For what? That's a statement of fact. 16 of us.
Wasn't that name on?
But Mr. Chairman, I don't call on Mr. Chairman.
Those who
Chairman,
could
I
read
have made no mention of any name. I said 16 councillors. Why you want to jump up? Because you could be one of the 16. But who they can't fit? Let them wear it. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. I took up a press release that is attributed and given reference to a statement by St. James Municipal Corporation PNP councillors that says that they are expressing support for the vote of the parliamentary opposition not to support any further extensions of the state of emergency in the parish. And they go on to state several things. Hear this though. The councils made specific reference to the fact that most of the crime reduction measures can be implemented under the provisions of the JCF Act, and so urges the government to maintain the police and military detachment in St. James. The council said since the cordons and searches could be done without a state of emergency, under which citizens are detained indefinitely, all efforts should be made to ensure the continuation of the police and JDF saturation. So, they want the JDF and the JCF, but they don't want what causes the additional forces to be here, which is the SOE. Because under the SOE, additional human resources are provided because of the special legal arrangements that are made in order to implement and effectively operate the SOE. So if you don't have the SOE, then persons who may have been part of the battalion that are in Kingston or Moniga or wherever they are housed will go back to their locations. So you can't you want it one way, but you don't want it another way. I want to just take us back, Mr. Chairman, to January 2012, and I took the time to get the Jamaica Observer. I also took the time to go and get a printout of the RJR News, July 17, 2015. So, January of 2012, the People's National Party took administration of government in Jamaica. And they were there covering up to the period July 17th of 2015. One minister, Peter Bunting, was made National Security Minister. Now this is Peter Bunting in 2012. Listen to Peter Bunting in 2012. And I just debunking what Councillor says. Newly appointed National Security Minister Peter Bunting has promised strong and swift measures against a spike in crime that he said yesterday had resulted in the deaths of more than 30 persons since January 1. So in 12 days, 30 people get murdered. Quoting Mr. Bunting, "We will be sending a strong message to hoodlums who seem intent on disrupting and destroying lives. This administration will respond decisively to any increase in criminality. Those who have ears to hear, be warned. There is a clear indication that the criminal elements are not averse to killing and maiming innocent bystanders when they are targeted individuals. In some cases, it is evident that they target groups of people who have gathered to socialize." Supporting him was his police chief. We will intensify stop and search activities and spot checks around crime hotspots to prevent further drive-by shootings. Limited curfew operations coupled with joint police-military operations at nights in vulnerable communities will be intensified immediately. There may be temporary inconvenience to residents, but we appeal for patience and cooperation as we do what is necessary to ensure your security. So in January 2012, that is Peter Bunting talking. We're going to have joint military and we're going to search and we're going to stop and search and so forth. January 2012. Yes? July 17, 2015. National Security Minister Peter Bunting has announced that curfews will be imposed in sections of St. James following a spate of killings since Thursday when 6 persons were killed and another injured. We are redoubling our efforts to put additional resources in the St. James Division as of next week. That is in July of 2015. And all of this was said in light of the latest incidents and a desperate call coming from the business community for more intervention to tackle the crime problem in St. James. So 2012, Mr. Bunting is saying, we're having joint military operation. We're going to put more police and soldiers. And we're going to do stop and search and all the things that he just spoke about. The murder rate in St. James at that time was about 140. It went up between 2012 and 2016 when he was booted out of office by 20% every year in his administration in St. James. So what happened to the giant military, the stop and the search, and all these wonderful things that they said they were going to do? That they are recommending now. They did it, Mr. Chairman, they did it. Because if you drove around St. James, Mr. Bunting put in the most curfews in Jamaica. Over 7,000 curfews you had in Jamaica up to 2013. That they had in St. James. Every day the curfew flanker. Curfews have a limitation. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. If you look at the Constabulary Force Act, if you look at the Constabulary Force Act to which they're referring us to, if you look at the Constabulary Force Act to which they're referring us to, and it's section 50, or something like that, 50 and 51. Under the Constabulary Force Act, a curfew has a limited duration. 3 days. You can't put a curfew for. You cannot continue a curfew beyond 3 days. 1. 2. Under curfew, you cannot go into nobody's premises without a search warrant.
I don't know that, man.
Cannot. You cannot. So guess what? When you can use some other type of mechanism and scheme to say you're going to go into a violence producer's premises and say, well, you're coming here to search under firearms, that kind of a search warrant. Or you can go get one of the search warrants under the Dangerous Drugs Act or whatever, which has a limited scope to it. You cannot do it just so, Councillor Troop. It doesn't exist. So what this SOE was doing was creating a legal framework that facilitates our forces being expanded beyond JCF, and it gives the JDF additional powers so that they don't have to depend on the activity of the Jamaica Constabulary in order to seek to reduce crime in Jamaica. So, when you come and talk about, oh, you can't do it under other legislation, what you're doing is tricking the people and manipulating the minds of the people who don't read as much as possibly, because obviously you never read it.
Not at all.
Obviously, yourself and Councillor Bent and Councillor Thomas and Councillor Reid, to who the release was attributed to, as them saying these things, them don't even know what right in a section 50 of the Constabulary Force Act. They don't know what is written in the state of emergency. And Mr. Chairman, understand me this now. The release that they put out, I am saying the release don't even work. The paper on which it is written, and hence Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
The release that is written by the People's National Party Minority Caucus in this council is a disgrace to themselves, and is a disgrace that we could even associate with it, because it had to refer to the caucus in the St. James Municipal Corporation. And the people of St. James, the lady came to me this morning, and the lady said to me, Mr. Sinclair, you're going to take away the state of emergency. What are you going to do? I said, people like you must go out there. Go down to Sam Sharp Square. Hold up a placard. Show the people what it is that you think. She says, sir, we don't have the voice and we cannot talk. We depending on people like you to speak for us. They're depending on people like Councillor Cook to talk for them.
Yes.
They're depending on people like Councillor Troop and Councillor Thomas and Councillor Ben to speak for them. But they have let them down. And when you let down the people must let you down back. Yes. So, and you know, so with the increase, we got to 2018 now, Mr. Chairman. And they say it's not the state of emergency. Because of the state of emergency in St. James in 2018, the murder rate to date is below 100 in St. James. So you cannot tell me that with all the curfew, all the stop and search, all the whatever it is that Bunting was doing between 2012 and 2015, 16, and the murder rate in St. James kept going up. The murder rate in Jamaica kept going up, that he had to say, Lord Jesus, I don't know what to do. Divine intervention. But under state of emergency 2018, the state of emergency, the death, murder in St. James gone down 70%, shooting gone down 60%, across Jamaica, murder gone down 20%, shooting gone down 20% on a national level. And you tell me that some people went up there and to play politics, to seek to grandstand, that they said, no, you do not have any regard for the people of Jamaica. And just as the council said, the disregard that your leader of the opposition have to the people of St. James was reflected in his statement when he said, Mr. Youthful Exuberance again, who has been exuberant from his first input into politics up until now, which is being reflected in the very same report that you are talking about relating to Petrojam, is that he has full confidence in that person. I don't know how it is that anybody can have any confidence in either him, any member of the opposition, parliamentary opposition, or have any confidence in the four that are sitting here at the present moment in this municipal corporation. And Mr. Chairman, I am saying to the Prime Minister and to this administration, think through the issues, appreciate where the opposition has forced Jamaica to be and forced in particular St. James to be at this present moment. And let us ensure that even without the SOE, which they fail to support and which they are going to cause to fall flat in January, that we find the appropriate measures. And they ask, what are those? If you go to the Jamaica Defense Force base in St. James right now, you see construction taking place. The construction is taking place for a particular reason, because it is going to house a battalion of JDF soldiers instead of having to transport them from out of town into St. James to service Montego Bay, St. James, and Western Jamaica. It don't finish yet. They want the project to finish so they can house a battalion of soldiers down here and put more boots on the ground. If you go up to Montego Hills presently, the land beside the police station has been cleared, Mr. Chairman, because there is a construction intended for Mobile West to house the Mobile Reserve West in St. James. So we have more boots on the ground to provide security when the SOE would have been withdrawn in a more timely fashion. So what you guys have done is you're not looking at it. You're not looking at the fact that the government is putting in the building out the marine base down here at Freeport. You're not looking at the fact that this government is building down in Savlamar. They're going to put a JDF Coast Guard base in Westmoreland, so that the Coast Guard now can also be based down there. Because we have no purchased vessels. Because when your government was in power, if you did untie the vessel that was up at the Coast Guard place at Port Royal, it would have sunk. It was not seaworthy. Neither of them. You left Jamaica without any border protection. And this government, we buy a vessel, we put it in the infrastructure, we buy aircraft, we buy helicopter in order to do border protection. So, withdrawal of the state of emergency needed some more time. It had to be done in a timely fashion while we build out infrastructure. But for grandstanding and politics, But guess what? Your former Prime Minister, P.J. Patterson, they promised St. James people said they was going to suck salt through a wooden spoon. Well, let me tell you.
The continuation.
Well, that is the attitude that they have. Mr. Chairman, I am saying this administration must look on the measures, and I'm asking for this municipal corporation and all the law-abiding persons, the 13 persons, and if any of them want to shift and say, all right, a mistake, and anyway, never understand what them named it. Them do them know. They can come out and declare it, you know.
Yes.
That they didn't know that their name was put on any press release.
Yeah.
Like I say,
We forgive them.
right?
You can say it.
Declare yourself, though.
Yeah, man.
Declare yourself that we must communicate to the administration that we here in St. James are going to stand behind our law enforcement. Our law enforcement have sacrificed much. The law enforcement, them leave them families wherever they were and they ensure that them come out here and them work in order to protect St. James people. And it's like the opposition just take up everything, the dirty water, and just dash in at them face. In spite of all the hard work that they have done to make the achievements which you yourself have admitted. And it is not the Prime Minister who went out there or the GLP who went out there and said we want a continuation of state of emergency. The law enforcement agencies, the JDF Chief of Staff, and the Jamaica Constabulary Commissioner of Police, they wrote their appropriate letters to the Governor General requesting an extension of the state of emergency for a certain period of time so that the infrastructure build-out could be done to ensure that we have a better and safe life after the state of emergency. So I just say that we must continue doing the work. I encourage the Prime Minister and the administration continue doing what you are doing. And any other appropriate measures, I say that I stand behind the Prime Minister and the government 100% in respect of protecting the lives of the people of St. James. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. I won't take any more. No, Councillor Thomas. Councillor Thomas. Councillor Thomas. I have allowed Councillor Thomas. Councillor Thomas. I have allowed your minority leader to speak.
My division that has been the first also declared in Jamaica. That was on September 1, 2009. It is not a measure that should last in perpetuity. Mr. Chairman, it's a measure that, as it said, is temporary. So I think, Mr. Chairman, we have to face the reality. Mr. Chairman, we have to face the reality of the facts that in St. James, while we argue about a state of emergency, we should go back to in February of this year when we have a town hall meeting and we wanted to change the name to enhanced security measures. Nothing is wrong with that, right? At that particular point in time, the said government wanted to change the name to enhanced security measures. Nothing is wrong. But while we sit down here and we discuss the state of emergency, we pay no attention to the human rights issues. And I quote Mr. Mr. Chairman, can I be protected? I sit quietly and I listen to each and every one of you speak. So I think you should do the same now. You should do the same. All of you speak so eloquently about what we should discuss. You should listen to what I have to say. All right? So what I'm saying, you should listen to what I have to say. Mr. Chairman, Minister Chuck came out and apologized to the detainees under the state of emergency.
You must read with understanding. Must read with understanding. Because you're misleading. He's misleading. And what you're misleading in. Because an apology that was given wasn't speaking specifically to one area. It wasn't speaking to the SOE lockup. It was speaking to lockups generally. Generally. And we know that in lockups it is not a bed of roses. There are challenging situations and circumstances. But the Freeport lockup was refurbished. It was locked in 2017, refurbished in 2017, and a brand new lockup coming into state of emergency in 2018. Go and understand that. Visit the police station, Councillor Thomas. Now just go by what read in the newspaper. I am glad that I wear so many hats. I wear political hat, I wear attorney hat, I wear one other hat. So tell you what the other one is. But what the advantage I have was several persons. And so when I hear them talk about abuse, I am an attorney. I'm not going to allow my client to be abused. I am a political person, so I don't want my potential voter to be abused. So I am always going to be. So when you talk, you only talking from probably one or two perspectives. Right? But you don't visit the lockup. You don't know what's happening down there. I go down there. I live it and I see it for myself. And all I could say so many things about the public defender's report, but I'm not going to do that at this point in time.
No problem, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Chairman, we fast forward to where we are now. With over, I'm not sure how many of you speak. If you don't listen, I'm not sure how many of you speak to the detainees that were there and how many you speak to some of the families. But, Mr. Chairman, we have to be very careful. While in the expedience of believing or in the expedience of where we are, we do not end up hardening a community against our security forces. Because sometimes when you listen to the stories of some of the people who came out from under there, when you listen to some of them, Mr. Chairman, and the feedback you get from some of them, Mr. Chairman, you are going to say that there are many of them out there in abject fear, because there are so many innocent people who were picked up, and I understand why, and how many of them had lost jobs because they were detained and could not report to work. We understand why. And yes, we have to sacrifice some level of freedom in ensuring that the general public is safe, Mr. Chairman, but at the same time, we have to be very careful the line we cross. Or the decisions we take, a state emergency, Mr. Chairman, is not meant to last for a year in any country, not at civil war. And as such, Mr. Chairman, we are saying to you, Mr. Chairman, that in this modern time, we need to say, and as we are saying, Mr. Chairman, we support the police, we support the soldiers, we support enhanced security measures, and we are saying to you, secure the people of St. James, secure the people of Jamaica, but you don't need to do it under a state of emergency.
2 minutes up now, Councillor. Have a seat. Thank you. Thank you. Let me have some. Thank you very much, councillors who have contributed to this debate. And I gave the debate some time, because we who are in here, we are the ones who feel it most, because we have our constituents and we have seen what has taken place in our own division. But what I need to remind all of us in here, and we speak about human rights. There are redress for persons who think that their human rights have been breached. But what about the redress for the victims who have lost their mother, who has lost daughters, who has lost children? What about the hundreds and hundreds of children who are either fatherless or motherless in this parish of St. James? How do they get their redress? How do they get their redress? We're talking about persons who have been picked up wrongfully. You know, we need to be real. Yes, some might be not guilty, but we are a part of a community that we know. We know what obtains in these communities. People dare not come and give evidence. Why? Because those same persons, are community enforcers. And as a result of that, you think they're going to come and give evidence? I'm saying to us as a parish, and you know, I heard a quotation recently, and I have to repeat it. You fill a bucket, cup by cup by cup, or spoon by spoon by spoon. And I did not know that this was going to come to pass in such a short time. Where it took 20 irresponsible people in Parliament to kick over that bucket that we have been trying to fill in this parish of St. James. But I will echo a sentiment, and this sentiment is on behalf of the 13 of us, that we are prepared as a municipality and as councillors to support and continue to support the measures that will be taken by this administration. There's one thing I can assure you, that we won't throw up our hands in the air. We won't. We will be resolute. We will be forthright. And we will be forceful. And the commitment that I want to echo to the citizens of this parish of St. James, who have seen the worth and the value of the state of emergency. We are prepared to commit ourselves to the process of not allowing this parish to go back to 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. And I say to my government and the people of St. James, they have in us a partner, and whatever we need for us to do, we will do it, because we are saying that this parish of St. James, the fastest growing parish in Jamaica, the fastest growing city in the Caribbean, we are not prepared to let partisan politics intervene for us to lose the gains that we are now gaining as a city. And I'm appealing to the citizens of this parish. Let us bond as a unit. Let us bond as a people for one common cause, to make the parish of St. James a better place to live, work, raise families, and do business. Thank you very much. Reports from the St. James Fire Department.
The report was submitted, but then I'll just give a few updates. In terms of fire coverage and protection, we have 2 pumpers, 1 water tender, and a command vehicle that is up and running. The fire boat was received in the parish on the 28th of October. It is temporarily off action though for servicing, but otherwise we remain in a state of readiness in case of any unforeseen emergencies. Superintendent Dolphin Doman has been temporarily transferred to Area 2 of the Jamaica Fire Brigade. So he's now overseeing the parishes of Trelawney, St. Anne, Portland, and St. Mary, acting as Assistant Commissioner.
Thank you.
While he is away, I, Rudolph Seaton, assume command of the division, and Assistant Superintendent Vasiana is acting as the Deputy Superintendent.
Okay.
So we want to wish him well on that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Now, if there's anything from the report, I will be more than happy to answer. But one more thing, the fireboat station is 90% complete.
Here.
And still tentative, but we are awaiting word from the minister for it to be officially open on the 28th of December.
Thank you.
So by now on Monday, I will confirm with you as to the opening of that station.
All right, thank you. Any
Thank you.
just one question. You know, during this time, the Yuletide season, there is usually an increase in fire. Is there any awareness program that is now taking place to sensitize families? Because, you know, Christmas tree have a way that it catches a fire and stuff like that. And so is there any community sensitization now taking place as to best practices?
All right, Your Worship, that is still ongoing. We have just completed our Fire and Life Safety Awareness Week in October.
Okay,
And of course, there will be some ads on the television.
please.
And of course, there will be different segments where persons will be educated as to the way forward.
Best practices. All right, thank you. Any
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to rise to thank the fire department of St. James, especially the ones from Montego Bay, Freeport. Recently had an issue in my area that we needed to transport a very elderly sick man to the hospital, and they came to our rescue, and we are grateful. I'd like to tell also my fellow councillors that in need of an ambulance and so on, it's not just the the hospital and so on is available. They also are willing to assist in times of need.
Okay,
So I'd like to tell you thanks, sir, and to tell your men that I'm very grateful for the assistance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Again, acknowledged.
All right. PDC report, can we have a very concise report? Dr. Dove, do you have some time
Good morning,
constraint?
everyone. In the interest of time and protocol,
Yes.
just want to highlight 4 main areas. On November 8th, we attended the World Planning Day at Joel Grand, and there are 3 main focus. It was on climate change, how the country was preparing for climate change. We also looked at the local sustainable development for the parish. There are several parishes that have already completed their plan, and St. James is now in line for that to be completed. They also look at the hotel sector because you have 196 hotels that are below the sea level, which covers over 14,000 rooms. So there is a need for a climate change plan for the hotel industry. On the 15th of November, there was a relaunch of the PDC by the Minister of Local Government, which was held in Montego Bay. We had all the PDCs from the different parishes who came in for that event. There were partnership agreements that were signed by the Municipal Corporation, the SDC, the PDC, and the Ministry of Local Government. In relation to community recognition, on the 28th of November, we had, there was a community award ceremony that was sponsored by the SDC. However, the PDC did give one special award for community empowerment. This was given to Winsome Barnes of the Mount Salem Division because of her hard work in community development over many years. And we'll be having our annual Christmas treat for, we'll be going to the SOS Children's Village on next week, Tuesday, partnering with the Hotel Association because we don't have the fund to do it ourselves. So we'll be working with them, and for the event, the counselor in the area for that area has been invited. It will be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the SOS Children's Village. 100 kids that are there. So we'll be taking food from the hotels and entertainment and other things. In closing, I just want to mention one concern of the PDC. For the past 2 months, I did a report on the Mount Salem, the updates that was happening there, and it went viral across the island. There are communities now asking for similar thing to be put in place by the government, for the zinc fence to be removed. And I understand Mr. Samuda has made some comments about the government will look into that for different communities. However, what has happened is that there's been an attack on the PDC because of the work that was done, the report that was sent out, and a lot of misinformation was being sent through the Mount Salem. I went up there to look at the drainage, and one young man asked me, he said he got a copy of the report and the pictures, but he was confused and he wanted to know which political party I'm involved in, because the persons of a certain political color was up there giving misinformation and indicating that what was being done by the PDC is political. The person even told them that I made a report here. In my report, there was a report I made that all of them in Mount Salem are snipers, and a whole lot of thing that was being said to discredit the PDC.
Why is the councillor not in here?
He's not in here. He went further, that particular councillor went further to the chairman of the PDC to tell him that I'm presenting misinformation inside of the parish council. So he indicated to him that he gets a copy of everything, he has a copy of everything, and he has read it, so he's fully aware of whatever is presented here. So this is just to indicate that the PDC is under attack because we're doing our work, but we will continue to do without fear or favor what it is that we were appointed to do. We are not political. And in fact, if they're talking about politics, the DAC chairman for Adelphi is a PNP person. The DAC for Cambridge is a PNP person. So we do not get into politics. If we were political, we would have said, well, so and so and so has to happen. But I just want to make it be known, because if something happens to me, you know where you need to go for the police to start their investigation.
Councillors, this is a very serious matter. And that's why I summoned the councillor whose division the Zoso falls in. Councillor Kerry? Yes. You weren't here. But what Dr. Dove was saying, she was intercepted by a member of Mount Salem community where the zone of special operation is taking place, and were questioned and were literally accused of being partisan, political. The person even have a copy of her report. So it is a very sad state of affairs, to say the least, because this is why sometimes you can't get volunteers to work independently in communities because we tend to color individuals. I am not saying you are knowledgeable of it, but I'm only bringing it to your attention. So what I would advise is that you have a discussion with Dr. Dove, and she will give you more information in which you as the people's representative can go and make sure you set the record straight, that her life is not in danger. So I would advise that you have a discussion with Dr. Dove so you can have an understanding of some of the uneasiness that she feels when she goes into that area. So, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, firstly, I'm not so sure what the uneasiness is.
And that is why I'm, no, Councillor Thomas, I will not entertain a discussion because no, you weren't in here. So all I'm saying, engage Dr. Dove and you have a discussion on the matter. Please, she will enlighten you. She will give you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to be protected from this member who keep yapping every minute with speaker.
No, but I mean,
Mr. Chairman,
you get your instructions
Mr.
from me.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, what is wrong with you guys? What is wrong with you? Just shut up and listen sometime now. Mr. Chairman, I am saying to you.
Councillor Thomas, I told you how to proceed. I told you, no, I won't, no.
Mr. Chairman, allow me and then you will see where we're going. I'm saying to you, Mr. Chairman, I welcome that meeting and I want to have it in your chamber with you present.
It won't be possible for today.
Well, you set a date, Mr.
No,
Chairman.
but I need, no, Councillor Thomas, Councillor Thomas, I trust you as a councillor for that division. Right? So you should be able to can sit with Dr. Dove and have that meeting. And whatever the outcome of that meeting, if you want to bring me up to date on that meeting, fine. But she has said some things, and I only hope that the media don't pick it up. Because it will be a damning report on that area. So let us understand it. Right? So I am just trying to get you to see how you can appease the matter there. Because sometimes people are misguided, even though they are not guided to do so. And I'll give the benefit of the doubt up to this point. So speak with Dr. Dove. Local Sustainable Development, Mr. Lee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm asking that we defer that discussion until our next meeting since Mr. Manning is not here.
I'll have a report. You have a report,
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
A report was circulated, Mr. Chairman, but just to bring this group up to speed with some of the happenings of Alga J, we successfully hosted our national consultation conference and localizing SDG in Jamaica. This was held November 7th, 2018 in Kingston. And I'm happy to report, Mr. Chairman, that we have realized some of our goals. We wanted to bring a number of parties together with regards to the sustainable goals, not only in Jamaica, but worldwide. And one of the things that came out of that meeting, Mr. Chairman, well, let me say first that we had the UNDP present, we have the European Union, we have PIOJ, as well as the local government and Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. And one of the things we realize is that the population in general, predominantly young people, are not so much aware of local sustainable development goals. And one of our initiatives going forward is to ensure that we make them more aware of this particular initiative, because in truth, Mr. Chairman, this is part of the Vision 2030 for Jamaica. I must also report that a team from Jamaica went to Trinidad just last week with regards to the same. Yes.
Oh. Is there a seconder? All in favor? Go ahead, continue, Councillor Cook.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. That a group went to Trinidad, including yourself, Mayor Maraz, Mayor Gager, and a few others from Jamaica went to Trinidad earlier last week to represent on the SDGs in Jamaica. And the compost in St. James, that we are at the development stage, was also one of the featured topic at this forum, at the CLGF forum. Finally, let me just quickly say that we have started an early meeting with the Minister for early next year, when we'll be looking at some other issues that are impacting councillors across Jamaica with regards to social activities and the social well-being, so to speak, of our councillors throughout this country. So we'll be seeking that early meeting, and a number of topics are on the table for discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cook. I can report that that conference was well attended by mayors and councillors from across the Caribbean and other areas of the Commonwealth, to include the European Union. And what was pointed out there, and I think it's the same challenge that we're having in Jamaica, is as it relates to the young people, knowledge about the Sustainable Development Goals. And I'm not even sure that even our members fully understand the whole question of the Sustainable Development Goal. It is a part of the 2030 vision, and it is for the Commonwealth Local Government Forum, so it's all the countries of the Commonwealth. So I think Councillor Cook, as one of the VP, we need to get our own councillors to buy in to the Vision 30. I know the copies of the books are available, so I think each councillor should seek to have one of these books and make sure that them get themselves au fait with what
just quickly, Mr. Chairman.
Seeking to achieve.
A strategy is being developed to sensitize councillors right across Jamaica,
yes,
as it relates to the SDGs.
Right, good, good. But it was a very good conference. We have taken away a lot of things. Local Public Accounts Committee, Mr. Lee, or Ms. Cunningham.
Mr. Chairman, the last meeting that was scheduled for November 15, that fell through. So the next one is in January,
Okay.
Thursday.
Local government reform, that's ongoing. No report on that. Buildings within the city of Montego Bay that are public nuisance.
That is with our lawyers, sir. We're still awaiting the response.
Okay. Water shortage in several areas of St. James.
Presently, Mr. Mayor, we're presently trucking water in Somerton, Maroon Town, and Welcome Hall.
Thank you. You're going, yeah, okay. Cuban committee, that has not yet, there's no further update on that. Street lights within the parish.
No further updates on that.
Street lights within the parish. No update on that. Well, I can, give some insight. I think it is ongoing. JPS is doing much better than they were doing before, of which they had to, because I know the government had committed to pay them and start paying them some $4 billion on their arrears. So they have really started to repair and replace some street lights in some areas. I know that a number of the councillors have gotten street lights repaired in their areas. Councillors, as it relates to the resolutions, there are a number of resolutions. And in the interest of time, I would recommend that we defer the discussion of these resolutions until our January meeting. Can I get a second? All in favor? Yes, good. Right. We are now down on to Mayor's announcement. Mayor's announcement. There will be a town hall meeting at the Cultural Center, Civic Center this afternoon, starting at 6 p.m. We're asking persons to be seated by 5:30 p.m. And this is a midterm report. I think as a local authority, we have been here now for 2 years, and I think that it is appropriate for us to update our constituents of the things that we are doing as a municipality. So this meeting this evening will be geared towards a report to the people of St. James of what the St. James municipality has been doing in the last 2 years. Saturday, December the 15th, that is this Saturday, there will be a presentation of the keys to the city of Montego Bay to the Jamaica Reggae Girls in Sam Sharp Square at a civic ceremony starting at 9 a.m. The ceremony expected to last no more than 1 hour. So we are asking the media and those who wish to attend to be there on time. As we all know, the Reggae Girls, they are qualified to perform in the World Cup. So they are being taken across Jamaica by the Minister of Sport, the Honorable Babsy Grange. So they will be in Montego Bay at Sam Sharp Square at 9 a.m. So we're asking those who can attend should attend, and I would suggest the Jamaican color would be in order for this function. Christmas tree lighting, Sunday, December the 16th, at the usual place, Sam Sharp Square. There will be also a kiddies fun village, and that will start at 3 p.m. Same place in Sam Sharp Square. Christmas tree lighting, the ceremony will commence at 6 p.m. And I was told by the chairman of the Civic and Community Affairs Committee that it will be bigger, it will be better, and it will be much nicer than all previous years. Sorry. The Mayor's Christmas dinner of the homeless and the less fortunate will be on Wednesday, December the 19th at the Care Center on Orange Street, starting at 1 p.m. The Mayor's Christmas treat across the 5 constituencies, and I must use this occasion to thank the hundreds of persons who attended the Mayor's Charity Ball, our sponsors, who attend our mayors, who attend the mayor's charity ball, because without them, it could not have been the success as it is this year. I think it was well attended and it was very successful. And coming out of that, funds raised, we'll be having Mayor's Christmas Street across 5 constituencies in St. James. Sunday, December the 16th, it will be in East Central at Sudbury Hall Age and Dumfries Primary. Tuesday, December the 18th, it will be in Northwest St. James on the grounds of Norwood Playfield at 1 p.m. Friday, December the 21st, St. James West Central, the newly renovated Catherine Hall Community Center, and these events will be between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. Saturday, December the 22nd, section of Southern St. James, Montpelier Showground, and that will be for the Cambridge and Catadupa division. By virtue of the size of the constituency, we decided that we would have it at 1 Christmas street on either side. Sunday the 23rd at the Vaughansfield Primary, and this will be for the Maroon Town division and the Welcome Hall division, and that one will commence at 3 p.m. Sunday, December the 23rd also, St. James Central, that will be at Creek Street Car Park, and that will be between the hours of 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. There is a yearly Atlanta Sister City Christmas treat, and it commenced today, Thursday, December the 13th. Cornwall Regional Hospital, 12 noon. They will be treating some 70 persons there, and I must point out that this is their 20th anniversary. Friday, December the 14th, which is tomorrow, at the Care Center, 12 noon, they will be treating some 40 persons there. Monday, December the 17th, they will be at Infirmary, the St. James Infirmary at 12 noon. Tuesday, December the 18th, they will be at Jamaica AIDS Support, 10 a.m. Wednesday, December 19th, they will be at the Women's Center, 11 a.m. Friday, December the 21st, they will be at Refuge of Hope Night Shelter, and that will be at 12 noon. So these are activities that will be befitting the Yuletide season. So we are asking those who can attend and give an helping hand should do so. Not to be left out, although this is an internal one, where we will, Councillor, it is the most wonderful time of the year. And so we are inviting all the councillors, all members of staff of the St. James Municipal Corporation, that we'll be having Christmas cake and a sorrel affair right in the council's chamber. Tomorrow, Friday, December the 21st at 3 p.m. So you can come and have your taste bud. Next week, Friday, sorry. Can come and have your taste bud activated and drink some sorrel. I've been told that the ladies said they don't want any alcohol in the sorrel. So make it alcohol free. And I saw the nodding from my right hand. So next week, Friday, because, you know, we have been working, and I must commend the members of the heads of department and the supporting staff at the St. James Municipal Corporation for their effort. It is not without some rough patches, but all in all, I can say that we all have a good working relationship, and we expect that to continue in 2019. So once again, members of staff, next week Friday at 3 p.m., we will have our own little cake and sorry. If anyone want to walk with a little bottle, but make sure it's not alcoholic beverages. Right? 'Cause we don't want anybody to sleepwalk through any of those windows. Good. So we now on to municipal. Now on to municipal matters. Can I have a motion for the local board of health? Moved by Councillor Deputy Secretary. Can I now invite the Public Health Department to give?
Public, may I just entertain a motion to accept the decisions of the public health in approving barbers, hairdressers, and beauty therapists. The document is circulated. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor? Good. Public health?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
From our department, the rodent control program in the Tucker and Fairfield area has been suspended until January 2017. An inspection was done of the drain alongside the 2019, sorry. A drain was done the inspection of the drain alongside the People's Arcade was carried out, and it was found to be in a deplorable state and is therefore requiring immediate attention. The public cemetery in Barrett Town has exceeded its capacity, and we're therefore recommending that operations be ceased as the graves are not being dug to the stipulated public health requirements. That is it from our department.
Okay, good, good. Can I now have the report of Dr. Daly, please?
Good afternoon, Your Worship.
Good afternoon.
Councillors and other members present. I've been hinted to make sure my presentation is short and spicy as well. I just want to, on behalf of the Public Health Department, I just want to thank the St. James Municipal Corporation, the councillors, the mayor, and other members for working with us during the course of this year. And we thank you for your support. We look forward to your support going into the new year. Just
You'll be at the town hall meeting this evening?
addition, yes, we'll be representing this evening. Just to give you some updates, just to say that our facilities will have early closure on the 18th of December to facilitate a staff function, and on the 24th and 31st. So we do have our extended hours at Type 5. So on these days, services will usually go up to 10 p.m. So on these days, the services will close at 5 o'clock. We continue our look on diseases and prevention and control. Specifically, I want to mention in terms of non-communicable diseases, our major concern would be our chronic disease, particularly hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, and the Ministry of Health would have been making a grand stride towards reducing these diseases in our country. We've been looking at the Jamaica Moves program, particularly upcoming, will public health institutions. The thing about it, so this policy will be in effect on January 1st, and this is along the path to reduce chronic illnesses. In addition to that, in terms of communicable diseases, at this time of the year, as we realize that we're seeing an increase in the numbers, especially a slight increase in numbers of acute conjunctivitis, aka pink eye. We would see, so for these diseases, we see them on a yearly basis. They're always present, but at certain times in the year, we notice that you may have increases. And looking on the trends, we're seeing that particularly, we're seeing a little bit, not a grand increase, but we're seeing increases of conjunctivitis. So just a reminder in terms of infection control processes where this is concerned, we're also seeing an increase at this time of the year, an increased number in cases of chicken pox. So again, we just needed to be, just to highlight infection control. Remember, these are spread people to people. We are also seeing not highlight the greater than the expected levels, but we are seeing an increasing number of dengue, suspected dengue cases as well. So again, just to highlight hand washing and in other measures. And of course, if you're having complaints in terms of mosquito control, especially for those vector-borne illnesses, of course, just to highlight to us to let us know. We have been doing our monitoring and our vector control activities, but of course, we're always happy to hear from you. In terms of disaster preparedness, thankfully we're at the end of the hurricane season. We would have been spared, but of course we always have to be prepared. Coming up in January, the focus will be earthquake awareness month, so there are plans in place for drills. Again, we just need to be prepared for that. Just a little bit of correction to the minutes. It would have indicated that we would have started HPV vaccination, but of course this would have been started since last year. So this year would actually be the second cohort that we are doing for our HPV vaccination. And these are the quick highlights that I have for you. Any questions or comments?
Thank you. Question from Councillor Magen.
Just a quick concern and a question that was asked of me. For your HPV vaccine, was there a pilot project for Jamaica to see the effects of a 20-year run on the HPV vaccine?
So last year would have been the first year of implementation, and we would have started with, we would have started with our grade 7 girls here, and this is where we're starting, and the plan is to continue to scale up.
So there's no test pilot or test project or to any of that. The first cohort was last year, so we would not have had any, if there's any effects or side effects, negatively or positively.
We've been monitoring, and so far we've not had any adverse.
Okay, but the project is only 2 years old.
It's only 2 years old, yes.
You got your own mark?
I don't think I qualify for that vaccine.
Thank you very much for that report. You said it would be short, but I think it was short and comprehensive. Can I now get a motion to revert us back to? Moved by Councillor second. All in favor? Municipal matters, Mr. Lee.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask that you entertain a motion to accept the committee minutes? That's all the way down to item 8. Those are the committee minutes that are presented for
Okay,
acceptance.
thank you. All in favor? Aye. Good, good, good. Do we have any building matters?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Subdivision?
No.
Resolution, we have said that would leave all those until January of next year, our first meeting. Is there any new matters?
I have none, Mr. Chairman. None from the list.
None from the thing. What I would like to do, councillors, I know this was for just staff members, but we have to also invite our partners, those who have sat here with us throughout the year, to this Christmas cake and sorrel affair. So next week, Friday, those of you who can make it would love to have your company inside here, where we can eat a piece of Christmas cake and drink some sorrel and have a good afternoon. Starts at 3 o'clock. So we are looking forward to see you. Deputy Mayor, you said you want to?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a good year in the municipal corporation. And it all happened because of the cooperation of all the representatives of agencies who have made it possible to be here with us for all the meetings we have had over the year. And so I want to thank not only the representatives from the various agencies, but the officers of the St. James Municipal Corporation, the councillors of the St. James Municipal Corporation, and persons who from time to time have visited us in the gallery. And so the year has been extremely good. And so as we approach the Yuletide season, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year when it comes. Thank you.
I will now entertain a motion for adjournment. Thank you very much.